So today we're going to get into something I find really fascinating. It's all about color.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
But more than just the visual, right? We're talking color as a metaphor for life itself.
exactly. We've been listening to parts of this podcast, The Colors of Life, hosted by Emma and Jay.
Mm-hmm. They had some really insightful takes.
They really did. And our plan today isn't just to recap, but to really, you know,
Just
dig in.
explore how these color symbols they discuss actually mirror our own lives, the different stages, the emotion.
This whole complex mix of
Yes,
experiences.
right
Yeah,
there.
we want to pull out those key insights, understand what seeing life through this, well, colorful lens really means.
And maybe how embracing that full spectrum, not just the easy bits, can actually enrich us.
Yeah, adds depth. It's a powerful idea.
It really is. And it's amazing how quickly we reach for color to explain things that are hard to put into words, isn't it?
Totally. And that podcast, The Colors of Life, it jumps right in saying, look, black and white thinking just doesn't cut it for understanding life.
No, it's far too limiting. They really push for thinking about the full, vibrant palette right from the start.
Okay, so let's start right there. This
Yeah.
core idea,
Mm.
life as this big palette,
Mm.
way beyond just black or white.
Hmm.
It immediately makes you consider what we miss if we stick to those extremes. The whole thing rests on colors having this symbolic weight, doesn't it? Tied to our journey.
Absolutely. And it gets really personal, which is interesting. They talk about individual color associations.
Right. Her favorite was yellow.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, oh, it's bright. For her, it was tied up with joy, hope.
Sunlight after a storm, she said. Childhood summers.
Exactly. Sunflowers, possibilities. It
Yeah.
gives the color real, emotional texture for her.
And then Jay, completely different. He went for blue, that deep ocean blue.
Mm-hmm. Very calming. For him, it was about peace, depth, introspection.
A space for thinking, reflecting,
Mm,
even healing, maybe.
that's the feeling, yeah. And what's really striking about those examples
What's that?
is how much our own histories, our, emotional landscapes shape how we even see these colors metaphorically.
Right. Yellow might be pure joy for Emma, but for someone else.
Could be something totally different. Nostalgia, maybe even a bit of sadness mixed in. It's that personal connection that makes the whole colors of life idea work so well, I think.
So it's not universal symbols, necessarily. More like a personal code.
In a way, yes, though some colors do seem to carry broader associations too, which leads to the next point they made.
About how one color can hold a whole bunch of different feelings.
Exactly. They used red as the main example.
Which makes sense. Red is intense.
Right. Think about it. Passion, love, definitely, but also
Hunger. Rage, even.
courage, too. Facing something difficult. It's like the color's vibrancy matches the feeling's intensity, but the type of feeling can swing wildly.
That duality.
Yeah.
It's pretty profound when you think about it. Our emotions aren't neat boxes.
Not at all. Red, with all that energy, can hold both that rush of love and the heat of anger. It really depends on the context, doesn't it? Your mood, your past.
Which brings up another fascinating bit. How these meanings can change for us over time. Jay talked about his own journey with red.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. Initially, for him, red felt like chaos, overwhelm.
Something like that. But then, through life stuff, it shifted. Now it means strength to him.
That evolution is key, I think. It shows how we're not static. As we grow, overcome things, our perspective shifts, and so does the symbolic weight of these colors in our minds.
It's like we're literally repainting our own associations.
Exactly. You might even be doing it without realizing it. Think about a color that meant one thing to you years ago. Does it feel different now?
That's a good point. Okay, so from personal evolution, they broadened out, right, to the shades of different life stages.
Yeah, the idea that youth often feels like those really bright, bold colors. Vivid, loud, maybe a bit overwhelming.
Definitely overwhelming sometimes. And then adulthood. It tends to bring in
Yeah.
softer tones.
The grays, the pastels, the in-between shades. Things maybe aren't so stark, so absolute.
It's like the initial intensity kind of mellows out as we gather more. Perspective. Experience.
That seems to be the idea. A shift in energy, maybe priorities. Youth is often about that intense exploration, while adulthood can be more grounded, perhaps more reflective. The colors reflect that shift.
And speaking of grays,
Yeah.
I really liked how they tackled gray. It often gets a bad rap, dull, boring.
Right, but they framed it differently, as a symbol of wisdom.
Yeah, the wisdom that comes from experience, from understanding that life isn't just black and white. It's lived in those nuanced spaces.
That's such a valuable way to look at it. We're so often pushed towards extremes, towards certainty. Embracing gray means appreciating complexity.
Recognizing that there's depth in ambiguity sometimes.
Exactly. Understanding can deepen even when things aren't crystal clear.
From there, the conversation shifted to this really lovely analogy.
Hmm.
People as canvases.
Ah, yes, the canvas analogy. Powerful stuff.
Each person painted with their unique mix of experiences, emotions, memories.
Some canvases showing the storms they weathered, others maybe radiating kindness and love. It's such a visual way to think about how different we all are.
And how we're all works in progress, right? Constantly being added to.
Continuously shaped and colored by everything we go through, each canvas tells a unique story.
The idea that we can actually repaint ourselves. That big life events, loss, love, success, failure.
They add new splashes of color.
Yeah. Like maybe a deep, dark purple for grief or this bright, bold orange for some kind of breakthrough. It speaks to our resilience, doesn't it? Our ability to change.
That ongoing repainting is all about our capacity to adapt, heal, transform. Our identities aren't fixed, they're dynamic, constantly being reshaped by what happens to us and how we respond.
What really struck me, though, was the idea that the messiest canvases, the ones with the widest range of colors, maybe even some clashes, some dark patches, that they can actually be the most beautiful, the deepest.
That challenges the whole idea of striving for a perfect, unblemished life, doesn't it?
Totally. It suggests that richness comes from navigating the full experience, the hard stuff included. The imperfections add character.
Depth. It's forged in that complexity. True beauty often lies in those varied hues.
Which flows right into their point about embracing all the colors, even the difficult ones.
Yeah, not labeling emotions or the colors we associate with them as just good or bad.
Right. Like sadness, often seen as a dark color, blue or gray. Maybe it's not bad. It provides contrast. It actually makes the joy feel more joyful.
It absolutely does. Accepting the whole spectrum, even the uncomfortable feelings, lets us live more fully, more authentically. Trying to shut out the negative stuff just dulls everything, ironically.
Dampens the highs, too.
Exactly. You need the whole emotional landscape.
They used that painter analogy, didn't they?
Yeah.
Needing shadows to make the light pop.
Such a great comparison. It's true in art, it's true in life. Constant brightness wouldn't feel bright anymore. It's the interplay, the shadows and light together, that creates depth and meaning.
Gives life its texture. And then there was that lovely little bit of wisdom they shared. Something about a grandmother.
Oh, yes. Even the darkest blue sky makes room for the stars.
I love that. Such a comforting thought. That even when things feel really bleak, really dark,
There's still potential for beauty, for hope, for resilience to shine through. Little glimmers of light.
it's about looking for those stars, even in the dark blue.
It is a reminder to keep looking.
Okay, so pulling this all together, wrapping up this deep dive into the colors of life, what's the core essence for you?
For me, it's really about moving beyond simple labels for ourselves. We aren't just one thing, one emotion, one phase.
We're not defined by a single color.
Not at all. We're these complex, evolving blends of everything we've experienced, an intricate tapestry constantly being rewoven with every possible hue.
It's about embracing that complexity, isn't it? Being okay with the contradictions within ourselves.
Yes, a more fluid, accepting view. Compassionate, even. We're all these unique, changing masterpieces.
And that final message they had, directed right at you, the listener, it was so powerful.
It really landed. That you are not defined by just one color, one experience.
You're this incredible, complex work of art made up of all the shades.
An encouragement to embrace every part of your life. The bright, the dark, the muted, the vibrant, all of it.
It's about recognizing the value in every single shade on your personal palette.
Understanding that each one contributes to who you are, this extraordinary, evolving masterpiece.
So the big takeaway from our exploration today, really try to embrace your full spectrum. Know that every color, every experience adds to your unique identity and makes your life richer.
Absolutely. Which leads us to maybe a final thought for you to consider, something to mull over.
Go on.
Think about your own canvas right now. What colors feel dominant for you at this moment?
What experiences or emotions might be contributing those particular shades?
Exactly. And then maybe think about how you could consciously, intentionally invite some new colors in. Or perhaps just take a moment to appreciate the nuances, the subtle beauty of the colors already there.